You and I are worlds apart. Sounds a banger. Song is a banger, though. Yo, what up, Fig Tree? How you doing? I am just making a post here real quick on the school community. In the ED with my dad, trying to anchor in my IM to get out soon. Love it. Concerned about the heart from his blood work results. I will be sending good vibes your way, Fig Tree. And the thing that you can do too that was helpful, like I did with my mom with cancer, she should have died a long time before she did. But I kept imagining that she was healthy uh, for a long time, and then I stopped, and then that's when she ended up passing. But what you can do is that if the desire comes to you for them to be a particular way, just simply acknowledge that it is that way, right? Or recognize that it is that way within you. What up, BL? How you doing? Hi, Joseph. Hi, Parody. Do feel in my Sabbath state now. 3D has got to reflect soon because I'm getting impatient. Miss my SB. That's awesome. Congrats. Congrats. That is wonderful news. I'll give you a heart. I'll give you a heart and I'll give you some balloons. That's not a balloon. And a smiley face. That's awesome, Parody. I'm excited for you. How's everybody doing today, guys? Thank you for loving the stream. I appreciate you. Hey, Joseph, what area of Arizona are you in? I'm from originally grew up Tucson, moved Phoenix, New York City. Damn, bro, you moved across the map. I'm in Mesa. I was in Gilbert for probably like my first 25 years of my life, roughly 23. What part were you in AZ? Oh, you said Tucson. Yeah, Tucson's cool. It's close to Mexico. I kind of want to go to Mexico. My wife's family is over there, but I'm kind of afraid of being shot, though. I'm not gonna lie. Probably since I have that assumption, I shouldn't go. People keep telling me like, "Oh, you'll be fine." It's like how it is in the States and shit, but I don't know. I ain't trying to get shot. That wouldn't be a cool way for me to go. I want to go on my sleep when I'm 85. That's how I'm gonna go. What up? I'm doing good. I've been experiencing new thoughts that comes up from that. Yep. I'm grateful that you've experienced it, BL. You see that you when you change to being the I am or being as you desire to be, what automatically springs is thoughts from the premise of being as you desire to be. That is exactly right, BL. I'm glad that experientially, it's not a concept anymore. You'll watch your outside experiences transform. But the funny thing is you don't care anymore because you're already being as you desire to be. What up, Rebecca? How's it going, Rebecca? Oh, you got some. Wait, is that little chickens? Or what is that? Looks like a Charmander or something. That makes me want to play Pokemon. Thank you. Yeah, because nothing on my end is left. It's all covered in perfect. Yeah. It's funny you say that, Parody, because that's the realization I came to when I manifested my wife both times. I made a recording and I was like, what can I do? I am in a loving relationship. And then within a couple of weeks, it flowed. No, Rebecca, I'm dead ass. It's a fear of mine. That's why I never went. Right on. Also lived in Gilbert for a bit, but bounced all over Phoenix. Dude, I loved Gilbert, bro. Gilbert's, in my opinion, it's like one of the nicest places in Arizona, like top 3. I like it more in Scottsdale. I like it more in Tempe. I like it more than everywhere. The only places I say I like more is Fountain Hills. My grandma, my aunt live up there. I love it. We have like the biggest fountain in the world. Well, it was. I don't think it is anymore. It's like 375 or 450 feet or something like that. And then I like Paradise Valley a lot. And then I also like Sedona. Those are my top three. Did you ever start feeling impatient or fed up with staying in the end with no results? How do you combat this expectation that the end is approaching soon? Just stand by continuously just again acknowledging that I am the way I desire to be. I found that mostly that would happen um when I was near the end, like I knew that it was mine, but I just kept, recognizing that I am it over and over again. Then you just kind of go back into flow again. Rebecca, I don't know what that emblem is, but I love it. It's kind of a cute emblem. Sand, you're preaching to the choir. Just know you're not waiting, you're expecting because your end exists and snap yourself out of it, even if it feels like, yeah, yeah, exactly, Purdy. That's beautiful. Poetic, poetic justice. Can you guys hear my son's song? He's playing a song called Don't Put the Toys in the Potty. You guys are vibing today. I love it. Not really any questions, which is cool. That's what I find too. When you're in flow, you don't really have any questions. That's like the nicest thing about it. You just know everything. And you are everything, so there's not really anything to think about. Also, I'm from Chicago and live currently in Scottsdale, but first moved out to Paradise Valley when I moved here. Small world. Yeah. Paradise Valley is really nice. I love Paradise Valley. Very, very nice. And Chicago was cool too. I will say though, like I don't get all the hype about the pizza. I think like it must be because you're like from Illinois. That's the only thing I can think of because people are always like, "Yo, the pizza in California or Chicago is so good," and I'm a pizza like fanatic, and I did not like any of Chicago's pizza. I feel like it was all the same. But everybody from there though thought it was like the best thing since Napoleon ice cream. In general, I've been recognizing myself as I am. That's awesome, Fig. And it's interesting how what I've been affirming has been reflected back to me. Yep. That's another thing you'll notice too. If you do choose to affirm, you'll notice that things you like last I don't really ever affirm for anything last anymore because everything's wonderful. But I just had a desire to have coaching clients today. And so I went to bed saying, "Oh, thank you that I have coaching clients." And I just passed out with that thought. I woke up to 2 coaching clients, a bunch of people bought my course and my book. It's just funny how it's just so easy when you're in flow. It's automatic. It's a simple acknowledgement. "Oh, thank you that I have that." Whatever the desire is. "Thank you that I have that." And then you see proof. It's I to be honest, I don't know how I ever lived life any other way besides I'm living now. Like life used to be so chaotic. It was like I was living in a different reality or a different universe or something. I'd stress and I'd affirm and I'd visualize and I was worried and I was controlling my thoughts and forcing myself to be away. And now it's like I'm just so fucking effortless. I'm just so I, I I'm just perfect as I am. And then everything reflects it. It's just so easy. It's like, how did I ever stress to manifest? How did I caused myself so much suffering through manifesting. Now it's just such an easy thing. But I needed to go through it in order to be where I'm at. Chicago hot dogs are goated though. Deep dish is overrated. Yeah, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like their deep dish pizza was not good, and it's just like all they had. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't like terrible. It's not like I threw the food out, but I just had it, and I'm like, this is like Little Caesars or some like decent pizza place here in Arizona, but nothing that I was like, oh my god, I get why people travel around the world for here. Their hot dogs are fire. I agree. I had amazing movement with my SP. It was almost like we were back together, but then Nothing happened again. I know it's the middle, but I feel frustrated these days. Yeah, Miss Blurryface. So the reason why it flowed, I'm sure, is because you were being in flow, and then the moment that your SP came into your life, your focus stopped being flow and it started being looking for proof and validation. This is something that many of us are guilty of. And this is why I made this in my course too, is because I noticed so many people, this is the challenge that they have, is they start judging based upon appearances again. They start looking for proof and validation again. It's like no matter what you're experiencing, the goal is to be as you are. It's to be in flow. The focus is within you, because here's the most beautiful thing. If you can digest this, if you can accept this, if you live by this, your life will transform. I never ever have an issue outside of me. The issue 100% of the time is my imagining. Live by that and your life will transform like crazy. Because then all you need to do is worry on you. Because guess what happens when you go, oh, it's that person? Now you're imagining about the person. Now you're imagining about what the person's doing or what they aren't doing. Now you're imagining based upon their behavior or not doing behavior. Now you need them to do this or do that. Well, guess what? This all equates to you imagining unideally. And if your imagination creates reality and you're imagining something you don't want, guess what you're going to experience? So, how do I change this? I stop looking outside for what's going on and I start going inside as changing my imagining. Now I'm the power. Now life goes the way that I desire for it to go because I'm controlling my imagining, because I am imagining the way I love things to be instead of interpretations of what my senses suggest or what somebody else says to me. I mean, I'm a creator. So live by that motto. The issue is never external. The issue is 100% of the time in my mind. Your life will transform if you live by that. Come to Mexico with your family. Safe. Also travel to Latin America, Colombia. It's beautiful. That's what everybody keeps telling me, is that it's safe, but I'm like, fuck. I don't know. I'm the only white boy in the family. Everyone else in the family is Spanish, but they like love me to death. Sometimes I'll pull up some shit when I'm feeling a little spicy. I'll pull up some translate, some Spanish translate, and I'll be talking to them in Spanish. I think probably 70% of the words I say are pretty good with translation help. I think it's funny, but I'm in my bag though. I could do it. I could move to Mexico and live there with my phone. I think I manifested genuine content creators in specific videos because since a couple months, I started getting detailed videos about self concept, which is not something I knew about, but not properly. That's awesome, Verity. Even there, you'll notice the things that you attract or what you're conscious of. You keep telling yourself every content creator come in contact with is very helpful and genuine. You'll experience that. If you tell yourself that they're going to rip you off, you'll experience that because you're going to find the truth. What you put in your consciousness is what you'll experience. What helped you stay in the flow of consistent wealth, like monthly needs met plus having excess and overflow? Uh, just being in flow, Jonathan. Like I'm telling you, bro. Like my business is booming. My school community is doing awesome. Everyone's joining up. I mean, I check my email and it's like 10 new people show up every single day. Probably like 5 to be honest. But it's like continuously they're flowing in and buying the memberships and all these things. And people are also sending me out, it's being helpful to them. It's just from being in flow. I don't ever affirm that I get clientele. Minus last night I did. But I don't ever affirm that I get clientele and things like this. And I always have clientele. I always have coaching clients. I always have new people joining or buying my book, things like this. I don't ever affirm it. And the reason why is because, well, I am wealth. My very state of being is wealth. My very state of being is love. My very state of being is fulfillment. And it's sure for you too. So if you don't have a lot of abundance, the reason why is because in your mind, you're telling yourself you don't have a lot of abundance. That suggestion, I don't know if you guys were here when I said this, but I love this analogy because it makes so much sense when it like if this clicks, you get it. Our desires are the equivalent of us wanting to be a frog. Okay. Imagine a frog that's identifying as a palm tree, affirming that they're a frog. So they're affirming all day long, I'm a frog, 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 but they identify as a palm tree. So they can't experience themselves as a frog because they keep seeing themselves as a palm tree. Well, what if now relate to sober to our desire? All I need to do in order for me to be the way I desire to be, because that's who I am, is to accept that that's the way that I am and stop identifying to information that suggests I'm not the way that I want to, that I need to work for it, that I need to do something, that I'm not already that way, that I need to work for it, that I have to affirm for it, that I just really fundamentally all I have to do is let go of the identity of not being the way I desire to be. That's it. Because then what you're left with is being as you desire to be. I'm in Chicago area girl. Deep dish is okay, but the thin crust tavern style is where it's at. I never had that. I only had deep dish because everyone could tell me how good deep dish was. And like I just was not, like I said, it wasn't like bad, but it wasn't even close to the best pizza I've had. I've been working hard like from morning to night, having two jobs. I wonder if I should quit one. I kind of want to manifest being with my SPs and just having fun. Yeah, Rebecca, the funny thing is what you do or don't do will become extremely apparent to you when you're being present. It's just I just find that if I need to take action, it's automatic. If I don't need to take action, I don't. There's no overthinking. There's no should I or shouldn't I. I just know what to do, and that thing to do is always ends up aligning with my highest what I love, my highest good. So right, Joey, non-Chicagoans think we like deep dish more than we do when it's more of an occasional treat. Reality by design. Yo, what's up, Brian? Thanks for hanging out in here, bro. By the way, guys, if you guys are going to want to chat more after this, I'm only going to come on for about 30 minutes. And I did it just for the sake of repetition because I became aware of the fact that the personality of Joseph would sometimes say that he was going to do things and then not stick to it. So, for the sake of repetition, I wanted to come on here because I want to keep doing my Monday and Friday streams. And oh, that's it. Yeah. I miss him, want to contact him, but I guess it's retrograde. So anyways, what I was gonna say, I forgot about it. I was gonna add on to it. Ryan and I will be going on TikTok after this. If you guys want to chill, I'll be on there for about 30 or 45 minutes after I'm done with this live. I miss him, want to contact, but I guess it's retrograde. Yeah, Perry, my only suggestion is just acknowledge that you're in your ideal relationship now um and go from there. I think sometimes, like in my instance, I reached out to my wife before I manifested her back the second time because I didn't listen to what the world suggested I should or shouldn't do. I trusted myself. And that's my suggestion to you too, is you know what to do when you're in flow. So if you're manifesting your SP and you're feeling like you're in flow and you feel like taking action, then you take action because the thing is like when you're being it, you no longer care about the outside. You no longer care about a particular outcome. You're just experiencing yourself being the way that you want to be. So you reach out and it works. You don't reach out and it works. I mean, it's really it's secondary how it happens. But the main thing I would suggest is first recognize that you have it or recognize that you are it, and then go by how you feel. Hello, what up, Teresa? How you doing? I manifested instantly a pizza in today in just 1 minute. Savon, that's awesome. I actually kind of want to manifest a pizza. Hi, Joseph. What up, Sanam? Something I notice a lot of people manifest in acts must be someone I haven't been with, but is in my life. How do I not view this as harder? I know this may seem easier for others. That's really, it's funny because I do recall, I observed myself saying that before, that I feel like a new person would be easier. However, I think it really fundamentally comes to the exact same thing. And that same thing is that um, you don't judge based upon appearances and you don't imagine to the contrary, and you live from within. You live by your imagination. And so it's different circumstances per se, but it's really fundamentally the same thing. So it's just about anytime you think of your person, recognizing that you have it now, that the desire is pointing towards you have it now, that you are that way now. And then just recognize that you have it and then go on with your day. And here's an important part I found, Sanam, too. I was just talking about this with a coaching client. I can tell that if I prayed successfully, Neville talks about this many times. I can tell if I prayed successfully by paying attention to my thoughts, my emotions, and my perspective when I come out of prayer. If I prayed successfully, which means that I recognize that I am it or I have it, my perspective will change, my beliefs will change, the thoughts that come to me will change, and my emotions will change because my state changed. If I still find myself wanting, obsessing, needing, lacking emotional turmoil, I remained in the old state. This is really the easiest way I found to see if I recognize that I am what before I desired to be. I agree with you on this, but I'm becoming impatient. I feel it, Missy, Miss Blurry. I feel that. 2 days after I had a coaching session with you, my SP contacted me, but as the day went on, I drifted back on one of the thoughts and paranoia despite doing meditation, trying to mental diet. Well, congratulations on that, Teresa. Yeah, I observe that. I think what people really pay me for is to observe the flow, which puts them in the flow. I mean, that's really the most valuable thing that I can share with you is the presence that's activated within me because it activates the presence within you. And then wonderful things end up coming in your life because you're being as you are or you're being in flow. My suggestion to that is the thing that I found most helpful before I could access the flow whenever I wanted to was to do Dr. Joe Dispenza's breath work. That was really the only thing I could find because I trust me when I hear you what you're saying where it's like you're being in flow and your mind is just overpowering you out of flow. I remember being there. The only thing that happened, Dr. Joe Dispenza's breathwork meditation. It's like 6 minutes, 5 minutes. Listen to that breathwork meditation. It's life changing. It helps you become present in flow. And that's all you need to work on, Teresa. It'll go back to being the way that you love it to be. How do I keep the feeling after the Sabbath when my SP is another country and nothing in 3D engages me? I sometimes forget and feel numb when visualizing why. Okay, so a couple of things here, shut up. How do I keep the feeling after the Sabbath? So the Sabbath is when you know that the manifestation is yours. So it's not a concept, just like flow isn't a concept, it's a state of being, right? The Sabbath isn't a concept. People try to consciously put themselves in flow, it doesn't work. People try to consciously put themselves in Sabbath, it doesn't work. Why? Because Sabbath is a state of being when you recognize that you are who you desire to be, which is flow. Then you reach the Sabbath. So while in the Sabbath, you don't really have the desire. Now you have the preference, or you'd prefer for your person to be a particular way, or to be with your person, but there isn't a need. There isn't a obsession about it anymore. There isn't any of the emotional turmoil. That won't happen in Sabbath. A country when my SP is in another country and nothing in 3D engages me. I sometimes forget and feel numb. Shout out this something for you to reflect on, but this is and I went through this too when I was manifesting my wife. I called that like that to me is when I was in the state of like heartbreak or frustration. Because when you're in the state of the Sabbath is like life appears more ideal to you, actually, in fact, because you're more in flow. Well, why are you more in flow? Because flow is the absence of problems, which most of your problems are that you're not with your SP or things aren't the way that you want them to be. And so you'll find that most of the time your experience isn't very ideal for that reason. When you're in the Sabbath, you're ultimately going into flow state because you're not thinking of the thing that used to be a problem or something that you wanted or lacked, and so you're remaining in flow. Feeling numb is almost always a sign. It's like the same. It's a different manifestation of being frustrated or um, wanting to give up, right? It seems very similar to the Sabbath. I actually put this in my book to be aware of these states when it seems like you're in the Sabbath, when you're like frustrated, want to give up, numb, depressed. That's not the Sabbath. It appears the same because you stop thinking about your SP, but you're only thinking about your SP because you're like frustrated and annoyed and want to give up. What is the routine you suggest to manifest SP ASAP? A mellow, very good question. My suggestion is always to be as you are right now. And so what I mean by that, if you have desire to be in your loving relationship, recognize that you are in your loving relationship within you now. And you do this with any desire. My SP is a pizza and I manifest her instantly today in just 1 minute. You're a powerful creator. Sivan, I appreciate that. What up, what up? What's up, Brian? Oh my God. Hi, Joseph. Hi, Liz. I'm gonna come in here for a while as I was trying to take a breath from the light content, but I recently found out about a 3P. Feel a need for some encouragement to stay persistent. Yeah, Liz. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to release untrue beliefs from your consciousness. I trust at some point that you imagined this and may have forgotten when you did it, but this is the out picture of that. And this is a wonderful opportunity for you to release identification to it. Usually, when we get to purify our mind, it's after we create something that we wouldn't have particularly preferred, however, kept imagining. So, the solution to this is be in your loving relationship now. It still remains the same, even though you have a particular circumstance. It's still you deny the senses or deny what's being suggested to you by your senses, and you be in your loving relationship, regardless what the circumstances are. You'll find it's the same answer because there's only one source, and that source is your I am, and that source of being as you desire to be is within you continuously, regardless of what's going on with outside of you. So you'll find no matter what the circumstances are, and Ryan was proof of this. He had 3Ps, distance, all this other shit. I had some crazy circumstances I'm not going to go into out of respect for my wife, but I had a crazier story than 95% of what I've read on Reddit. And it was the same exact thing for me, is that I didn't pay attention outside. I didn't pay attention to what my senses told me. I didn't pay attention to what my mind told me or the old story. I kept going within and acknowledged I'm in a loving relationship now. That's all I did because it's all you can do if you want to succeed. Hello, contact me. Oh, I think you said contact me. I was like, what the fuck? Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems that the way to get into flow is imagination. But how do you get into flow if I don't want to force it with affirmations? Find it difficult to visualize. So imagination is what I do. Consciousness allows me to imagine. So what I mean by that is that if consciousness left, I would lose my ability to imagine. So when you're in that flow state or you're in that state of awareness or consciousness where you're just the blank space, right? Which is prior to imagining something, which is fundamentally who you are at its core, because you realize anything that's manifested is not permanent ever. It comes into fruition and then it dissolves, no matter what it is, a person, whatever it is. Hey, I'm on the call. What's your YouTube, buddy? Fucking randomly. Whatever it is, whatever manifestation, you'll see it temporarily appears and then it'll dissolve. But what remains the same? I am. My awareness was the same when I was 3 as it is when I was 15, as it is when I was 25, as it is when I'm now 36, and it will be for the rest of my life. And even after I die, my awareness will be the same. However, what I imagine or what I create will change. It'll change forms because it's the manifested is not permanent. It's the unmanifested that's permanent. So I say all that to share you can use affirmations to put you into flow. You can use observing your emotions to put you into flow. But you'll find once you're in flow that you'll imagine automatically. So, like, automatically, I see myself the way I love to be. Automatically, I imagine my life as I desire it to be. Automatically, I catch myself having inner conversations the way that I love for them to be. No change to appearances necessarily. I mean, oftentimes it results in changes very quickly, but most of the time there's no changes in appearances, and yet my inner conversation changes, my perspective changes. Before, where I went, this always happens, and I can't get past this. Now all of a sudden, this is such an integral part of my journey, and I needed this in order to be exactly who I desire to be. So you see, same thing, but yet my inner conversations, my perspectives, everything changes because I change states. So you don't need to change it. Go into flow, and then your affirmations and visualizations will automatically happen to you. Much like when you were imagining the way you didn't want to with your SP, or you didn't want to think of the old story, but the thoughts kept bombarding you. It's the state you were in. It was automatic. You didn't choose those. It's the same thing when you're in flow. Yo, with the $5 on the bird chest. Thank you, Enzo. I appreciate you, my friend. Hey, brother, I've been watching your whole channel in the last. Let me first love your message, bro. I appreciate the love. I've been watching your whole channel in the last 48 hours. I am here trying to manifest my ex fiance back. Thank you for what you do. You're welcome, brother. Thank you for appreciating it. I appreciate you deeply. It is a long, it's a long distance relationship too. She's in Peru. I'm in Florida. Damn, that is a minute, bro. I do have to say though, good. Peru's good choice. Good choice. I like what you're doing there. um, yeah, and Enzo, trust me, dude, it remains the same, bro. It remains the same. Like I get that it's different circumstances. Listen to the call that I had with Joseph Rodriguez and with Ryan that I just did, and these flow based conversations I'm having. Because I'll tell you, I think the most valuable things that I've ever shared have been in the last probably 2 months where I'm just in flow and I'm sharing. I think they're the best conversations because I can't tell you. I get emails from people all the time telling me they manifest their SP or lovely things are happening to them, and it's just for them being in flow. It's so funny that you say that about the tarot reader. Ryan and I were on we were on TikTok doing this. Tarot reader really likes the information I share on TikTok, and so she's pretty big size content creator, and she's been suggesting all of her people over to my TikTok and YouTube and such. And so we did a collaboration where she had Ryan and I come on there, and she did a reading, which was it was cool. And the funny thing is, like, I knew she'd probably be accurate because, well, everybody's just going to reflect outside information to you, right? But it was very cool how she shared about like my traumatizing childhood, and she knew that like my parents had infidelity and such, which was the root cause of one of the fears that I had. I never shared that with anybody, but she somehow was able to pull that from cards, which was cool. But when we turn to tarot readers to validate us or our desires, how should we stop that or learn to stop giving away our power to cards? Well, they're just gonna like I just suggested. She gave me a read and it's, oh, you guys have an amazing relationship and everything else. Well, here's the thing: if she would have read my cards back when I was not in the state of being in a loving relationship, guess what she would have reflected? You don't have the right person. You need to find somebody else. You guys aren't perfect for each other. You guys are water and oil. Well, she's just reflecting what I'm saying to myself, right? So if they're simply going to reflect what I'm saying to myself, why don't I just pay attention to what I'm imagining? And then I know what's happening anyways, because I can pay attention to what I'm saying to myself. Do you have a booking available for tonight by any chance, one on one? I do not. I do not. My next available booking, I could do tomorrow night, like late. My name is Blurryface, and I care what you think. Thank you, John David. Not sure who that's towards, but I good on you, my friend. I'm sure it's not a problem for you, but when we turn to oh, you already read that. How to ignore the 3D and get triggered when SP is dating and having sex with other people. Well, Mike, as long as you are focusing on what's happening outside of you, it would be damn near impossible. So the thing is to bring your attention inward and live by your imagination. Because your senses, let's break this down fundamentally. How do I do this? Right? You may ask. Well, let's look at the what your senses do. So I imagine, and this is 100% the truth for everybody in here. Everybody can relate to this. So let's say, oh, I'm now experiencing the 3P, etc. Okay, let's reverse engineer this. My question to you is going to be, when did you imagine this? Because I know that you don't have that specific problem that you kept fearing and kept imagining accidentally, right? Because if that was the case, everybody'd have a third party. But you notice how every single thing that you entertain is so specific to you that only you're having this instance or this problem. I didn't have a problem with a 3P. Why? Because I didn't imagine there's a 3P. Coincidental? No. What I put in my mind, what I imagine is what I experience. So for me, I kept saying my wife doesn't love me or she's going to break up with me. That's exactly what I experienced because it's what I imagined. So you see here that why I say my top tip to you is do not imagine to the contrary of your desire. Why do I say that? Because if I don't imagine to the contrary of my desire, I will not experience any fuckery in my outside reality, period. It can't happen. I have to dwell, fear, imagine something bad happening for it to happen. It's the only way it has permission in my reality. Only way. I will never experience anything I'm not doing within me. Okay, why is this? Okay, so back to this. My senses then confirm what I'm imagining. So if I imagine 3P, then my senses confirm what I then imagined. It show me who I'm being. So then if I want to stop experiencing this, what must I do? I must go back to remembering how creation works. I go within and I imagine that I'm in my loving relationship now. And I stay here because what are my senses going to suggest to me? My senses are going to suggest what I imagined prior. Maybe it does that for a day, a week, a month. But I know damn well that if I continue to imagine that I'm in a loving relationship based upon my past experiences, that what I'm going to express is that I'm in a loving relationship. Has to happen because what you imagine, especially what you continue to hold there, will manifest. Yes, you and Ryan. You care about me and Ryan's opinions? I appreciate that, brother. I mean, because I'm only going to love on you, bro. But my only suggestion would be, is it's just believe in you, bro. Do what you want to do. Believe in yourself. That's my biggest thing. It's like people like me, that's wonderful. People don't like me, that's wonderful. And the reason why is because I'm the way I desire to be. I remain unaffected by experiences or outside environments and things because my value, who I am, is no longer determined by an outside thing, and that's fundamentally that is the goal of manifestation. Or where no matter what says anybody says anything to you, you're who you desire to be. No matter what the world shows you, you're who you desire to be. Nothing shakes you from that foundation. That's the point, right? Look at all successful people. They're fucking delusionally crazy in believing in themselves and believing that they're the way they want to be. People tell them all the time, you can't do this, you won't do this. They don't give a shit. That's the goal. You see success. This is, I shouldn't say that that's the only form of success, but the people that are living the life that they love, living the life of their dreams, are the ones who do what it is that they want to do and they don't care what anybody else says. That's fundamentally it. And that's why my suggestions are never specific of do this or you have to do this. My suggestion now is always be as you are. Because you don't need to do it Joseph's way in order for you to be rich, in order to do this, to do that, to create your business. In fact, my way may not even work for you the way that I did it. It was perfect for me based upon my experiences and who I am. But the thing is for you, follow your way. You're sitting on a gold mine. The events you went through are perfect for whatever it is your desire is. You'll find this. That's why my only suggestion is be as you are, be in flow, acknowledge that you are. The desire is for you to acknowledge that you are it. That's it. That is the only thing. Realize that you are it. Follow you. Your way is the best way. People disagree with it. That's wonderful. People love it. That's wonderful. I love this quote. I saw this quote by Alex on School Community. I actually love this. He goes, the funny thing is the people that need the rooting are the ones that never get it. It's the ones that when you're first starting or starting a business, that's when you need the rooting. That's when you need the validation and whatever. But when you actually get it is when you succeed, then people all of a sudden tell you that you're a genius, right? So it's like, just do what you want to do. Believe in you. I have strong bad emotion connect to SP due to the breakup and some beliefs toward her. Resentment, I'm not sure I can let go. When she comes to mind, fantasies of hatred and vengeance are prevailed. What do you suggest? Um, well, that's just of the old man, right? Like that's you identifying with the old story and the old man. So as long as you continue to entertain the old man, these emotions and these hate is going to be brought up because this is the old story. So let's remove your attention from it and then imagine that you have the ideal relationship now. Emilio, please forgive her and yourself and let go. Mike, awesome. The blurry face is a song lyric. Oh, for real? I did not know that. Okay, got an update from a doctor. She's not concerned about my dad's lungs or heart. They're just trying to figure out why his troponin level is trending, but I know he's going home. See, that's my point, Victor. You see how easy that was? Beginning, you simply, your desire for your father to be okay, you acknowledge it was okay, and look at this. Now all of a sudden, information is being changed outside. That's all you do. It's such a simple thing. It doesn't even surprise me anymore. It's just like I just acknowledge something real quick. The moment I see it, it's just fucking done. It's incredible. Yes, forgive, but don't let yourself be disrespected knowing you have created it. Go within. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Simon said, just simply just acknowledge, hey, I imagined in a manner that was not loving, and I trust myself to not imagine that way again. I know better now. And then you find that this will help you to forgive because your recipe just mirrored you. So there's nothing to forgive because they're a mirror of you. And then you can forgive you for imagining a manner that didn't serve you because you're learning. You're learning, right? Because if you knew, you wouldn't have done that. So you learned and you went through something that you needed to learn, which is wonderful. It's a great experience. Now you know, oh shit, I'm that powerful that the very act of me fearing something is ensuring that I come across that experience. So let me let it go and go into flow. Let me not imagine to the contrary of my desire, i.e., a loving, harmonious relationship. And then you won't do it next time. Brother Joey, loving the forward hat. Thank you, brother. How about the backwards hat? You loving that too, Jamarion? I'm just kidding. I don't know. I love how you love my hat, bro. I was talking about the other day. I'm like, I don't think I've never observed a person that loves hats a particular way. I just think it's funny that you love my hat a particular way. Flower subs. Hello, everyone. What up, flower subs? Literally within a few minutes of acknowledging all is well with him. Yep, that's just how it goes, Fig. Hi, Samber. How you doing? Then you didn't let go of the old self and story yet. Yep. Nicholas. Hey, it'll be all right, Fig. Nick coming in here with the love. What's up, Nick? What if you're not sure if you want that relationship with SP? Maybe just reconciliation and them loving you. My suggestion that instant is going to be then to, well, still going to be the same, be in flow. I mean, it's really the answer to everything. I just find that life is incredible. Why be this way? And this is my only concern. So that's my suggestion to you. My thing is, though, is that like, if you're wanting something just for someone to tell you that they're sorry or something like that's a, I would do some meditating on that before you proceed because it's me observing and I can tell that like the motive in there is probably not you're forgetting who you are if you're wanting an apology. What if you reached a point where you stop caring about your SP manifestation? I'd love to be with them, but not really worried about it and have been focused on myself. That's a wonderful place to be at, Ty. That's exactly the point. People think I just had a coaching call with somebody and they said, when I'm in flow, I recognize I don't desire them and I'm scared it's not going to flow. This is the things where I used to call it mind fuckery. But here's the funny thing. Okay, if I'm imagining that if I do it this way or if I stop doing this, I'm not going to get my SP, what am I imagining? I don't have my SP. The whole thing behind it is that, and you see this time and time and time again, you manifest who you are, who you're being, not what you want. So if I'm desiring, I am wanting. If I have SP, I will not be thinking of my manifestation. Why would I? I have it. Not desiring SP is a great thing. It is what everybody experiences when they're in the Sabbath. Why? Because you have it. And that's more proof in the pudding that what you want is the state, not the person. Because when you're in the Sabbath, you don't even want the person anymore. You just prefer them because their state of being changed. I just booked the one-on-one with your brother. July 26th, love it, bro. Love it. I'm excited about having a conversation. Oh, at 9 p.m. 9 p.m. ESP, so that'd be 6 my time. Perfect. Love it, brother. That'll be right after I do my collaboration with the internal game part 2. Ironic enough, the same exact person I was worried. Shit. Ironic enough, the same exact person I was worried about turning into my 3P became the 3P. Told myself it was my intuition. I've seen a lot of people manifest shit because their intuition. Yeah. Or saying it was their intuition. I used to do that too. Because I had so many. Here was the thing: growing up, my family was very chaotic. There was lots of fights physically and emotionally. So I'd have these intuitive thoughts that something was going to happen, and then shortly after they would. Well, what I found it actually was very intense imagining that then created the experience. Because I notice now that if I quote unquote have those things where things are going to go bad, and I don't identify with what it's suggesting to me, I don't experience it anymore. I don't experience it anymore. Luxury Queen. What up, Luxury Queen? Thumbs and hearts. I appreciate you. How could you explain the flow state? Sure, Karen. Flow state is, well, thinking of an activity that you absolutely love doing, Karen. What activity do you love doing? You feel like time flies by when you're doing the activity. Answer that, and then I'll come back to you. Ever thought about we mirror others' thoughts as they mirror ours? Not at all, Damanu, because it would be untrue. Would be untrue. They will often say that others will, like, if I think of somebody and with internal game, we talked about doing a collaboration a couple of weeks ago, and we haven't talked since then because we're just busy doing our thing. I reached out to him a couple of days ago. Hey, let's do a part 2, bro. He's like, yo, I literally just thought of you a couple hours, couple minutes ago. That's how it appears, as though they were thinking of me. But your manifestations always seem in harmony. It's never like you're manifesting your recipe and you're like, I fucking didn't want to do that shit and I just came back because you manifested me. It's like never like that. It's always in their mind, you're just my person. I loved you. I thought about us being together all the time. Right? Because it appears as though they're manifesting you too and they're in harmony with you. That's how it works. I had this small white bubble spot from Munch Joseph. I said, I intend for you to go away. It was gone 2 days later. Yep. This just happened 2 days ago too. It's just that simple, Mystical. Hey Joseph, you missed some of the questions, just reminding you. Thank you, Miss Playerface. Yeah, I'm trying to get through them because I'm about to jump off here in like 2 minutes. Glad you're doing a collab with Internal Game. I really love your channel. Thank you, Ty. Appreciate you, brother. I got to say, last year I did manifest an apology for someone, and I think it's 100% valid to do that. Well, your perspective's never going to be incorrect, right? My point of view is, one, no one exists outside of you. So what's the point? And secondly, you imagine the person to behave that way. So what's the point of the apology unless it's to satisfy the ego? Because there is only God experience in itself. So there is no point of an apology, right? Because who did they harm? They didn't harm you, your consciousness. So then who did they harm? The ego. So the ego is wanting to get proof and is wanting to get an apology for something that it sees as wrong. But the funny thing is, you'll see that the ego is the one that ended up making that experience happen in the first place. So to me, like, I've never wanted an apology from my wife, even though I experienced some things from her, because I recognize, like, I work through the things and I recognize that I created this. My wife's shown up the way that I imagined she would. So if anything, I should apologize to myself for doing that, or rather just learn, right? Because I didn't do it on purpose to myself. I didn't do it on purpose to anybody else either. I just didn't know how to do the. I didn't know how to imagine ideally. All right, guys. Well, I love y'all. I'm gonna go and jump on some TikTok. If you guys want to jump on some TikTok, Ryan and I will be live. Favorite flow state of sex. Fair, fair. If you guys want to reach us on TikTok, we will be on there. I love y'all.